And I feel that sometimes like doing scenes where I go, oh, everybody's gonna hate my character after this, and I'm gonna cop flack for it online. Like I'm gonna get hate comments online about this scene.
Sir, your son is freaking out because he may never see out of his left eye again.
Yeah.
No, forget baseball. And just be his dad. God, it can't be that freaking hard.
My name is Simran from Pedestrian TV. But yes, you've now done 2 workplace dramas back to back, The Pit and now The Airport Chaplain. Yeah, what keeps you like drawn back to these environments?
I mean, those are just the things I'm being offered. I think there is something about airports that are so like they're such beautiful places, airports and hospitals. I think like hospitals are, especially the ED, like you go there on your worst day, and there's such a community of the people who help you. Like it's such a team sport. And then I think airports too are so connective. I love the airport. I don't know if you're a Charlie XCX fan, but like Apple, it's my song, and I love the airport. Like the airport is like freedom to me. The airport is, I'm from Adelaide and I live and work like not in Adelaide. And so the airport for me is like the way that I can work and see my family, like airports are so connective. They're such beautiful places, like everybody traveling somewhere, everybody's got a destination. And like the different types of travelers are so fun too. Like, I don't know, I was on a flight yesterday coming here and I had like next to me there was like a kid who was traveling alone, and I remember getting out the plane and he like rushed past me and I was like, oh, okay, and he like ran into his mom's arms and they like walked together like out of the airport, and I remember just being like, oh my god, that's so beautiful. Like the way that it allows us to be with our loved ones all over the world. It's like so beautiful.
That's so wholesome. I feel like that's so like Love Actually coded, like when at the beginning, yeah, that's like the best. I love that. I feel like as much as they're so lovely, these airports, they're also kind of both high pressure spaces and they're both in different ways. How do those worlds kind of feel different when you're inside of them as an actor?
Oh, I mean, I think the experience of shooting them is so different. The Airport Chaplain, we only shot in the airport a few days. We shot other locations and we set dressed to look like airport, and it was amazing. Like our art department was incredible. But I think for me, like in the Pit, I play like the youngest med student. I play somebody like really low status in the grand scheme of that workplace. And I think here I was coming in as like Hugo Weaving's boss, like, and they're like Errol and Claudia and all these amazing actors who are like Australian icons, and obviously like friends of mine from before, like Cav, Ananda Sivam, oh my god, Ananda Sivam, I think that's her name. I always forget how to pronounce the surname, like where there's S in the Vigo. But like the friends I've had for ages, like it was really interesting playing like high status with those people. Like I think very, obviously I walk into a room with Hugo Weaving and he has a lot more power than me because it's Hugo Weaving and it's me. But in the playing power is a really different emotional experience, I think. And so that was for me the biggest difference.
Yeah, I was really interested at like in The Pit, you kind of go head to head with Dr. Robbie, like with that whole TikTok situation a little bit. And you like let him have it, which loved. A fantasy of mine. And in the Airport Chaplain, you do kind of also go head to head a little bit with Hugo Weaving's character, and there's different types of power involved in that. What was that like, kind of building that tension on screen?
Yeah, like very, very interesting. And also like, like we did that scene with Noah at the tail end of season 2. I've worked with Noah for a long time now and played lower status to him for a long time. So that moment for like a peak, like a jump out and then back to regularly scheduled programming probably, Whereas with Hugo, we worked for 2 months on the Airport Chaplain, and like a very different experience. And also because he, like just like behind the scenes of like actually making a show, like Noah writes and directs and EPs on The Pit. It's like his, he has his fingers all over that. Like he's in every pocket of it. Whereas like Hugo and I were both actors on the Airport Chaplain. So there's really different social dynamics at play. And like with Noah, you can go up to him and be like, my character's doing this in this moment. Like what's going to happen 3 episodes from now? Or like what's going to happen? Like, like he knows everything.
Yeah.
So it's a really different work experience, I think. But I think being powerful to people that have more power than you, like in a scene, is it's really hard. I think it's really interesting. It's really interesting because you've got your own baggage about it almost, where you're like, obviously I don't want to be polite always, and I want to be like easy to work with, but then you have to be difficult in a scene or whatever. But I feel like the environment of it, like we had these really great both directors actually of the airport chaplain were like under 35, like really young, fresh, up and coming, bold directors. And so there was already a dynamic of like, our head of camera department was a woman. Like there was a lot of women on set. There was a lot of like young people in charge. And so it didn't feel as crazy. And it was actually kind of beautiful to be able to do that in that kind of workspace with a bunch of creatives who were sort of punching above their weight too,
Totally. I feel like that's the ideal situation and ideal environment to kind of tap into that different creative space. I feel like it's a pretty universal experience, I would say. Like at some points you're going to like butt heads with someone in any workplace, Is that something that you kind of drew on like from your own experience as well to like tap into that?
Like I don't know. I think that I've liked basically everybody I have worked with.
Totally.
And every now and then you maybe get somebody who's got a bit of an ego or like maybe like gets off on being difficult a little bit. Like, film sets are really strange places, and I think they're really hierarchical, and some people really enjoy having power. But I think for the most part, people want to connect, and being difficult isn't connective. And so I think I've been very lucky that like I haven't had lots of big personalities to deal with. Yeah, and also like so much of my work until now has been like bit parts. Like I come in for a day, I come in for a few days. So if somebody's an asshole for a day, you can kind of handle that,
Totally. I was even like thinking back, I was like, oh my God, I worked at a fish and chip shop and like I hated the manager. That's where the justice came from. Yeah.
I worked at a supermarket when I was like starting acting, and my sister worked there as well. And I loved scanning and bagging. I loved scanning and bagging. I think it's like the best job ever. It's so fun. And I broke the record for fastest scanner and bagger. And so then she was like, not on my watch. And then I left and she beat it.
Oh my God, amazing. So the feud was with your sister. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. That makes sense. Oh, when like self-checkout came out, I was like, wow, this is amazing.
It feels so good, but it's a lot slower because we have to weigh the products. Like I really think they should get rid of those weights so that we can just really beep, 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 like faster. Because I was on like 22 items a minute.
Wow, that's amazing. There should be a competition for that, like spreadsheet champions vibes, but like for this.
That's my dream. Because also I was bagging well. Like you hear that number and you go, oh, she's just like scanning whatever and throwing it in. But I was like looking at the conveyor belt and being like, okay, they've put they've like put the conveyor belt poorly, but I can figure it out. So I was doing Tetris. Like I really was. I've been talking too much about working at the supermarket recently, but I really loved it.
I love to see it. I love to see it. Coming back to your character, Mira, what kind of felt closest to you, I guess, and what kind of felt more confronting to step into for that character?
I was nervous about motherhood. Like I don't have any kids. But the actor playing my daughter was so amazing. She was so wonderful. So it was like that went really well. And I love kids, and I think I'm good with kids. And so that ended up being like not at all scary. But I was like, oh my God. Also because I think I was scared that I've like been playing somebody who's 20. So I've been like in the mindset of a 20-year-old for a minute. Even though this character is not that, we have like what, a 4-year age gap, 5-year age gap, if that, compared to the 9 years I have with Victoria Giovanni. But so I was quite nervous. The way people see me is like they see me as like a child, when I'm like, not a child. And so that was nerve-wracking. But I was really excited about, I have a friend, Seppi, who's on the Pitt actually too, who always says you have had, like whatever you're experiencing, whatever you have experienced is perfect for whatever you're walking into. Like you have everything you need. And I really believe that. And I think I was like talking earlier today actually about like going on the journey of like becoming not a people pleaser anymore. Like I used to be a real people pleaser until I realized that it like pleases all the wrong people, or it only pleases people that don't care about you and want you to just do whatever they want you to do. It doesn't actually please loved ones, good bosses, friends. Like it doesn't please any of those good people. And so I think I'm becoming way less nice, but way more kind. Like, I think I used to just be like, yeah, like, ha, 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 like, but I think now I'm becoming, like, kinder and, like, more thoughtful and, like, becoming more attentive as a friend and as a sibling and all of that. And hopefully as a workmate. But I think I'm way less, like, if I don't have what you want right now, I don't have it. So
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
becoming less apologetic for who I am. And I think that's exactly what she embodies for me, like kindness, not niceness. Like, she's here to be like, I have to fire a bunch of you. Like, my role here is that this isn't functioning and I have to fix it. And there is only so few, like, there are so many things I can do to fix it, and I have to do them all because this situation is so poor. Like, this management position is just, it's just, you know, like, she comes into a shit show and she has to make it work. And that means people aren't nice. Like, I don't like her, but it's not that she's not kind. She just has to do this job where she's
Yeah.
going to be number one, and she's okay with that. And I think I would be, as a young woman, I'd be really scared of stepping into a role where I knew everybody was going to hate me. And I feel that sometimes, like, doing scenes where I go, oh, everybody's going to hate my character after this, and I'm going to cop flack for it online. Like, I'm going to get hate comments online about this scene. But you have to just do it anyway. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, that can't be something you're thinking about. And I think that for her, she's exactly that. She's in a leadership position. She's younger than everybody else. Nobody wants to take orders from somebody, you know, that young, inexperienced, et cetera, et cetera. And so I think that she's got so much socially stacked up against her. And management is a really social job, but she's not afraid of it. She's going to do it anyway. And I think that that's sort of becoming my attitude, which has been nice to have learned that from her.
I love that. That's so nice. Wow. Okay, I'm learning things also, you know. That was very inspirational speech. That was really good. I like that. I feel like my parents always, like, used to tell me, like, you know, like, there's a difference between kindness and niceness, and you need to choose kindness, you know, and that has really stuck with me. So I'm glad the word is spreading, you know. Yeah. Speaking of, you know, kind of having this, like, different dynamic, like, in a workplace or just, like, you know, in life, you mentioned that your character in the Pit wasn't originally written as South Asian. What did that kind of shift mean to you, both personally and professionally?
Oh, I mean, her character there wasn't much, like, racial in terms of plot in the script.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they'd written her to be Middle Eastern, but they hadn't written any specific cultural things into the script, which I think that's a good thing. I think there's something really interesting about, like, there are some characters that are written to be really culturally specific because they're exploring cultural themes. My character is like kid genius. Anybody can be a kid genius, you know, like romantic, socially inept, but, like, all, like, privileged, sheltered, like, all of these things could be anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It just happened to pick me. And so then she gets to have all of my cultural baggage, right? And all of my cultural nuance, and she gets to be South Asian. But that's not her, like, story. That's not what she's about. I think that a lot of the times, I mean, I really like that she's, like, a fully fleshed human being and she's not just an exploration of her race, because I think that that's something that happens only to certain types of people. And as an actor, it's, like, really repetitive to just be doing the same, you know, reductive ways of seeing a race, like, to be performing those over and over again, I think is like, you know, I mean, actors older than me talk about it, like taxi driver, terrorist, right? Like, they talk about those, like, tropes, those things they have to play. And I think that Victoria is just, like, a person, and, like, I'm a person, and then she also happens to be South Asian because I am, you know?
Yeah. God forbid we just live, you know?
Live.
I will say it was really, I feel like it's awesome seeing, like, South Asian baddies on the screen, and, like, even coming from, like, Australia specifically. And I was, like, thinking, you're obviously from Adelaide. And Dave Patel lives in Adelaide. that was like my mind connection. Have any other, like, Aussie or South Asian creatives kind of reached out to you after the Pit? And do you know Dave Patel?
Oh, have they reached? I mean, I make a lot of stuff with my friend Leela, who's also South Asian. She's, like, Lebanese, South Asian, like, Indian, and she's cool. And it's really nice to have had that before, you know, like, and she's a writer director, and so she writes a lot of, like, South Asian characters, or she just writes people and then they happen to be South Asian, really. Like, and so that's really nice to have had that from the get-go. And then on the Pit, like, I have my friend Supriya, and so, like, we get to, like, bond over, like, our experiences there. Like, it's so nice. And then on the Airport Chaplain, Cav like Kavitha was on, and she was great, and I love her so much. And I know her from the first ever audition both of us did, like the first ever TV audition. We both auditioned for the same role, and she got it. And then I ended up getting a small role playing her big sister. And I remember her walking into the room. And this is like, she for me, I love her so much. But she for me, I think, is the reason I never got into the competitive mindset of an actor. Because I remember I was doing my first ever audition. It was for an SBS show actually called The Hunting. And it was like the final 4 characters, like those 4 lead characters, like 4 kids. And the top 2 of each character were all going to be auditioning together. Like they were doing chemistry reads, like mass chemistry reads with each person, each combo. And I remember sitting there with everybody, and she was the last to arrive. And I remember like looking at across the courtyard and seeing somebody walking towards us. And I didn't know she was going to join us. I just thought there was somebody walking in the courtyard of the South Australian Film Corporation. And I was like, oh, she's got a really great walk for this character. And then she got closer, and I was like, oh, the way her eyes, that's really good for this character. Like, it was like really inspired by her. And then she came and sat down, and I was like, oh, she's the other option. Like, if I'm being inspired by the other option, they should just go with the other option. Like, there's no way that I can out Cav. She's perfect. Like, being who she is, she's just perfect for this. And so then I think it really gave me this perspective of like, oh, I either get the role or I get representation for free.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I can like, we can support each other and be friends, and like, it'll just be a lovely thing.
Yeah,
Like,
I love that.
community and not be alone, you know, like you have so many really unique experiences. Like you know, you get casting says it doesn't make sense for there to be any people of color in this show, or like, you know, whatever. And you're like, why? Like, why? Like, it's based on real material. And there are people of color in the source material. Like, why? Like, you get those experiences all the time. And it's so easy to gaslight yourself into being like, maybe I'm the problem, you know, like I'm just really talentless, or I'm really this, or I'm really that. But having Cav and Leela and like Supriya and like all the friends I have that have similar experiences to me really makes you go, oh, no, it's systemic. It's not me.
Yeah.
If all of us are experiencing the same 3 things, you know, every few months, like it's actually, it's all good. That community is so important. And so I hope that I can make friends with other South Asian Australian creatives. It means the world. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it's so validating to, you know, that the experience is like somewhat universal and then different for each person, which is awesome. I seeing that Supriya is leaving the show. How are you feeling about that?
I'm so devastated. That's my best friend, but we live really close in LA. And so I'm not losing her as a friend. I think it's like really, you know, and we didn't have many scenes together in the show, but I think it's really, like, she's such a gift. Like, she was such a gift for me to work with her and to like hear her thoughts on everything. Like, she's the smartest, coolest, most wonderful person. And so it's like a real gift to have her in my life. And I'm really grateful that I got that gift.
I love that. I have one more question. I know that we're like over time, but it's about your fear of cats.
Yeah.
Your, you know, and I just felt really seen by this because I too have a fear of cats and I'm thankfully allergic. So
Did you go to therapy?
No, I didn't, but I saw that you like kind of like therapized yourself like through it.
No. I went to therapy and then we did hypnosis, which didn't work. And we did systematic desensitization, which did work.
Okay.
Yeah, I really recommend it. I love cats. They're better than dogs.
Okay, T, this is a lot to process for me, but I kindly disagree, but I will look into it with my therapist.
Yeah,
I will.
Please do.
I kind of like looked at like the way that you did it, and it also has like similar elements to like exposure therapy kind of vibes. I've had kind of actors say that acting can kind of feel like exposure therapy in itself, because you're kind of like been pushed out of your comfort zone constantly. Do you think that like those kind of experiences, either in your life or like even in like workplaces, kind of approach like shaped how you approach roles like this?
Oh, do you think having a phobia of cats made me a better actor?
Yes. I was like, I really want to bring up this cat phobia, and my editor was like, you need a question with it. And I was like, okay, done.
I think I think acting is like an exercise. Yeah, exposure therapy, it's like you're exposing yourself to humiliation, really. It's like it's a really embarrassing job, and I think that it makes you acclimate to embarrassment and cringe, especially in this like generation of like cringe culture. it's actually really, it's been a panacea for me for that. I love to be pushed out of my comfort zone in that way. I think that I've got to level with you. I don't think there was anything functionally useful about being afraid of cats like that. But actually, maybe it did. I conquered a fear. Like conquering a fear is a really powerful thing because so much of like our identity is like what we've learned about ourselves, right? And I learned that I could conquer a fear.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's actually a beautiful thing. Wow, thanks for that question.
No worries. Thank you for finding an answer for it. I appreciate you. But no, thank you so much. I'm so excited to watch the entirety of the show and excited to see what else you get up to. It's been really lovely following your journey. Yeah.
Oh, and I love Pedestrian too. The last person who interviewed me was just delightful. Like, I really think you guys are really fun.